If you're like most businesses, you're using email to communicate with your clients, sometimes sending out dozens, maybe hundreds daily. But how do you know if your emails are being delivered into your client's inbox? Email service providers are always changing their deliverability standards, meaning there's always a possibility that a big chunk of the marketing emails you're sending are going directly to your client's spam or junk folders. A proven way to reduce the likelihood of your emails landing in your client's spam folders is to ensure that your email reputation is solid. Your business's email reputation is like a credit score. The higher your score, the better it is for your bottom line. Something you can do today to boost your email reputation and reduce the likelihood that your email will show up in your client's spam folders is to make sure that the clients you're emailing are engaged clients. An engaged client is someone who has indicated they're interested in what you have to say. There are lots of ways a client can engage: by opening an email, clicking on a link, purchasing your product, or filling out a web form. They've signaled that it's okay to communicate with them. The longer it's been since a client last engaged with you, the more likely that client is no longer engaged and may mark your email as spam. Review your list and remove clients that opted out. If you continue to market people who don't want to hear from you, your email reputation will suffer, which will impact your ability to reach those clients that do want to hear from you. The content you're sending is one of the most important factors in maintaining a high email deliverability score and determining if your emails make it in your inbox or land in a spam folder. There are 5 things to keep in mind when writing an email. First, do not send emails from a public domain like gmail.com, msn.com, yahoo.com, and others. Use your business domain in the from address. Next, match the subject line with the body copy in the email. If the subject line makes a promising offer and it's nowhere in the email, you lose that client's trust and you might get dinged by your email service provider. You don't want to get dinged. They both need to match. Third, use your company branding in the email. It can be jarring when people see an email that doesn't follow your company style. It's also something email service providers will ding you for. Fourth, follow the 80-20 rule. 80% text, 20% image. Avoid creating emails that have 3 lines of text and a giant image. Lastly, make the unsubscribe link easy to find. An important factor in determining whether an email that you send to a client goes to their inbox or to the spam folder is the reputation of your business domain. Your domain reputation is one way email service providers decide whether or not they will deliver your email message to your subscribers. It's a good idea to check your domain regularly to make sure your domain is in good standing with lookup tools. There are many tools that you can use to check your domain. MX Lookup is a good place to start. If you find you're blacklisted, you'll want to get more information about what you can do to become delisted or taken off a blacklist. Like we said before, your business's email reputation is like a credit score. To keep your score high, it's essential you respect the wishes of those who receive your emails. If you don't, recipients may mark your message as spam. To see your complaints, contact your email service provider. Additionally, when someone unsubscribes, it's a great idea to use a survey asking why. Taken in total, these comments are a great indicator of where you can improve your email practices. Are they saying that they never signed up for your mail or that they already unsubscribed from your list? It might be an indication that you need to review your list. Are they saying that you send too much or too often? It might be time to look at the content of your emails and how frequently you send them. Make sure that you periodically review your complaints and adjust your email practices accordingly. Visit our blog for more ways to protect your email reputation.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jordan Hatch. I am going to be the host of the call today. Welcome to the Keap Facebook Live. I think it's also being simulcast on YouTube as well. Today, we're going to be talking about how to clean your list. This is part 2 of a 4-part series that we're doing about email deliverability. Like yesterday, I'm joined by Evan Samarin and Adrian Savage, 2 good friends that I've known for a long time, experts in their field. I'm going to drive the call today, and today, like I said, I'm going to be talking about cleaning your list. I guess I should probably introduce myself because not everybody was on the call yesterday, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves as well too. But my name's Jordan Hatch. I'm the owner of Full Stack Marketing. We're the world's largest reseller and distributor of Infusionsoft. We have over 100 certified consultants in our group that are ready, willing, and able to help you with your Infusionsoft accounts and your Keap accounts as well. And I also am the creator of listcleaner.io, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, but mostly we're going to be talking about keeping your list clean, and some cool tips and tricks on that. But like I mentioned before, I'm joined here by Evan Samarin and Adrian Savage. Evan, why don't you take a second, introduce yourself, and then Adrian, you can follow after that.
Yeah, absolutely, Jordan. Thanks. Hello, everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for taking the time out of your days. We realize time is probably the most valuable thing you have. So thank you for investing some with us. My name is Evan Samarin. I am the founder, head cook, and bottle washer over at Fundamental Marketing. My focus is entirely on email deliverability and working with my clients to get their emails out of spam into the inbox. So happy to be here, and I'll be diving in tomorrow to talk about the 3 pillars of deliverability. Adrian.
Okay, thanks, Evan. Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian Savage. I am the chief geek and founder of the Deliverability Lab. So again, specializing in email deliverability, been doing that for about 5 years now. I feel like I'm the odd man out here because I haven't ever worked for Keap or Infusionsoft, but I have been a certified partner for the last 8 years. And my focus is mainly on creating software solutions and tools to help you maximize your email deliverability. I'll be talking a little bit more about how they work and how you can, in general, maximize your email engagement and why that helps you get your email health as well as good as it can be. And I'll be talking about that on Friday. Anyway, we'll stop at this point because Jordan, it's his show today, and we'll give you as much time as we can starting from now. Jordan, over to you.
All right, sounds good. So yesterday's call, I scared some people, I guess, and I told you guys that I got fired from Infusionsoft for spam complaints, and I want to tell the story why, and this is the reason I want to bring this up and kind of start with this is this is what has made email deliverability kind of a passion of mine, is because it's a bad thing. It's it's tough, it's rough, and spam complaints are not good. So we have to rewind. I mentioned yesterday that I was employee number 10 at Infusionsoft. I also happen to be employee 100 or somewhere around there. But basically what happened was I was kind of running a lot of different things for the support team at the time. And one of the things that I was in charge of was spam complaints. And one of our clients, and this was way early days, there was literally 5 or 6 people, there's more than 5 or 6 people. There was less than 20 people that worked at Infusionsoft at that time. And one of our clients over the weekend had sent out a broadcast email and got dinged by a bunch of really bad spam complaints. Not just hey, take me off your list, but our internet provider actually shut down our ability to send emails out of Infusionsoft, not just for him, but for every single customer. And it was my fault. And the reason why was because I hadn't responded to the other spam complaints that had been sent in, and I hadn't taken care of that, and so that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was fired from Infusionsoft from that, and that was a traumatic experience to say the least. I love Infusionsoft, and I actually worked really hard for the next couple of years to try and get back on the team. And when I got back on the team, that was actually the last job interview I ever had. And it was with Adam Ross at the time, who was the VP of Sales. I had to interview with Clayton Mask, with Scott Martineau, and with Dave Lee as well, who is now the owner of Plus This and co-owner of Sixth Division. But anyway, it was, that's why I've always had a passion around helping people make sure that they're doing things the right way so that their emails get delivered and it doesn't screw up everybody else's ability to get their emails delivered as well. So that's actually, there's more to that story that, maybe we'll talk about another time, but that's why this is such an important thing for me. And one of the main reasons why I created List Cleaner was because I saw that one of the biggest issues that people have is that they don't have a clean list, and they continue to send to this dirty list, and it makes it more difficult for them to get to the inbox of their subscribers. And so that's really what I want to talk about today. is how to keep your list clean. Number one, why it gets dirty, and number two, how we can actually go through and clean it. So I'm pretty informal. If you guys, Evan and Adrian, have anything you want to add, just feel free to jump in. And then if you guys that are watching live have any questions, or maybe you're watching the recording, I'm pretty active on Facebook, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys have as we go along live. If you want to type those in, I know that the Keap team is monitoring that. They'll pop those up on my screen and let me know. So I'm pretty, like I said, pretty informal. My slides are real simple. We're just going to talk today, and we'll go from there. So, all right. So let's talk. Let's get into the content. So, there's really three main ways that your list gets dirty over time, and I'm going to talk about each one of these. And these are actually listed in order of severity and also in common and how common they are. So the first thing is spam bots. If you're not familiar with what a spam bot is, go check your list, because there's probably a few contacts in there that are from spam bots. But basically what it is it's, nefarious hackers, I don't know, some nerd in mom's basement somewhere is just trying to be a jerk and is submitting fake contacts onto your web forms, right? And the way that works, and the reason that happens, there's lots of reasons why it happens. Sometimes it's, people are being, like I said, nefarious. Sometimes it might be that they're taking advantage of your affiliate program, right? So if you're paying per lead and you don't have something like this in place where you can filter out good leads from bad leads, you might be overpaying your affiliates because they're taking advantage of it. But basically, structurally, the way it works is, every Infusionsoft web form is the same, right? When you go into Campaign Builder and you build a web form, structurally, everything is the same except for a couple of key things: your app name and the part of the URL of where the form actually gets submitted. And so what happens is these hackers or these nefarious people write these little scripts that take a database full of valid contact information, like probably just emails, right? And then they make up first name or last name, or they do different things for first name and last name, and they fill out that form. They basically just write a script that doesn't even go to your website. It just submits to the form directly. And that comes into your Infusionsoft account. Well, what happens, right? Infusionsoft is going to treat it just like a normal lead because it doesn't know that it's not real. And so then they start sending the emails, right? So if it's an opt-in, like a contact us form on your website, right? A lot of times, and I Evan and Adrian, you guys have probably seen this. Those are probably the biggest reason that your list gets dirty, is a simple contact us form. And that is because it's asking for first name, last name, email, and then comments, right? Like that's what every contact us form looks like. And a lot of times what these hackers, will call them, I don't know any other name for them, but script kiddies is another nerd term for them. But a lot of times they'll put in their services in there, and they're filling out the contact us form to try and get you to go click on the link to go to their website. And it could be even more nefarious if it's a phishing site or something like that. So that's how it works, right? Is that these spam bots go and submit or not real opt-ins, right? They might be real information though. That's the trick. And I know, Evan, you've had a lot of experience with that. Is there anything you want to add to that with, like some of the stuff we were talking about the other day where it's fake first name, last name, real email address?
Oh yeah. I mean, I just had a client came to me 3 weeks ago. They got hit by about 1,200 bot submissions. And it was obviously a Russian bot that was submitting valid emails from SBC Global primarily, and then Yahoo. And the behavior was form submission, opt-out spam complaint. And they got a warning letter from Infusionsoft because they had a massive amount of spam complaints. So, these bots can be nasty, nasty, nasty because a lot of them are submitting real people's information, and then real people get an email from you that they didn't request, and now your complaints go up. And you've got to realize you have to be preventative with this stuff, because when you get complaints like that, it hits your domain reputation. And it takes, if you've got a lot of complaints, it could take a good couple weeks to recover from that hit. So whatever you can do to be preventative, you have to. What's that old saying, Jordan? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It couldn't be more truthful here. So you really have to look at deliverability from the start, and that start is the opt-in process. And how do we keep that opt-in process clean?
Totally. And what's one of the questions that we had on the call yesterday was, well, I don't have a huge list. Like I got a couple thousand people on my list or whatever. Like, how long did it take for 1,200 bot submissions to come through? A few minutes, right? Like it could take a day, it could take a week or whatever. But if you've got 2,000 people on your list, and all of a sudden now you've got 3,500 people on your list, and you're sending to those people, like that's a massive degradation of your domain reputation and your ability to get to the inbox of the people that actually want to be on your list, right? So it's like you said, preventing that issue is step number one, which we'll talk about how to fix it. All right, so let's talk about the opt-in process. So your opt-in process is potentially making your list dirty as well. And this might sound weird for me to say this, but the reality is, if you are offering someone something of value, and you're saying, like, for example, watch this video, right? And all that you're asking for is their email address in order to watch the video. What are the chances that someone's just going to put in mickey@mouse.com for their email address, right? That's an opt-in. It's a valid email. It really is a valid email, but the chances of you getting marked as spam or something like that from that is pretty high. So when we talk about your opt-in process, you need to make sure that you're doing some things, and we'll talk about some of the reparation stuff, or like the stuff that you can do to fix it. But your opt-in process could be causing some of this, right? Just to preview, some of the things that you should be doing is offering valuable content that they don't just need to put in their email address to get to the thing. Just show them the thing and then get the opt-in after, right? There's a couple of other things like that we'll talk about. All right, so then number 3, the diminishing value of an opt-in. This one may also seem counterproductive as well, but the reality is, just because somebody opted in today doesn't mean that they want to get your stuff tomorrow, right? Now, that's like the small amount of time frame, but like, think about 6 months ago. Just because someone opted in and wanted your stuff 6 months ago doesn't mean that they want your stuff today, right? And so the less engaged they are, the more that hurts your domain reputation. And you need to be getting rid of people. You need to be getting people off of your list that don't want to be there. And they might explicitly say, get me off your list, with an unsubscribe or an opt-out or whatever you want to call it. But they might also say it by not opening your emails, not clicking the links, right? That's another way.
They just vote with their feet, don't they, Jordan? They just stop opening stuff. And
exactly.
One of the things that I've seen recently, I'll just use round numbers for a sec, but supposing you've got 1,000 people on your email list that are actually engaging with you at the moment, you can expect about 100 of those to kind of give up on you every month. So you're going to be losing about, sometimes as much as 10% of your audience month on month, which is why I'll hand back to you now, Jordan, but it's totally about, it's how you deal with that, isn't it? That's the issue.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just realizing that, in sales, there's always the saying, yeses are great, nos are great, maybes are kind of rough. We as marketers, when people go 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months without opening an email, clicking a link, or filling out a form, you just have to you have to make this psychological switch and say that, and understand that they're saying, no, I'm not interested in the solution that you're offering. And once you get over that, you can much more easily create detachment from this number of a list.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like, I would even say 6 months is a long time.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, I agree with you.
I legit have ADD, and I've signed up for stuff that I'm still getting emails for that I couldn't. I'm like, why the hell am I still on this list? And how did I get on there in the first place? Right? And I might have opted in 2 months ago, and I don't know why I did it. Right? So if someone's not engaging, every time you send them an email, you're basically just saying, have you marked me as spam yet? You marked me as spam yet? You marked me as spam yet? And you're just poking them in the arm, waiting for them to opt out or mark you as spam, right? So those are the reasons why your list gets clean. So let's gets dirty. Let's talk about how we can actually go and clean your list, right? So there's two pieces to this. Number one is, how do we fix the existing problems? And then how do we keep it clean going forward? What's the maintenance, the things that we need to do? So I mentioned on the call yesterday, I looked at the stats of the 5.1 million emails that List Cleaner has scanned so far. 8.5% of them are dirty, are bad contacts, right? So take your list, multiply it by, call it 10%, and that's how dirty your list is, right? That's across 200 apps. My confidence, like the plus or minus percentage on that, my confidence interval is probably like 1 or 2%, right? So it's probably somewhere between 7 and 10% of your list is bad at any given time. So there's stuff that you need to do right now to fix the problem, and then there's stuff that you need to do to prevent the problem from happening again. So first thing on the list is making changes to your web forms. So if all that you're asking for is email address, stop doing that, right? That's a quick way to keep people from just giving you their bullcrap email address. And what I mean by their bullcrap email address, if any of you have jordanhatch@gmail.com on your list, that's my bullcrap email address. It has about 800,000 unread emails. Seriously, that's my, I just want to see what's behind the curtain email address. Everybody's got one. It's their old email address that they don't use anymore, that they don't ever check, right? If all that you're asking for is email address, stop it. Put first name and last name on there as well. Okay. The other thing is, don't just, like, if it's like, hey, fill out your email so that you can see what's behind the curtain, that's going to get bad contacts as well. So don't do that. Just show them behind the curtain and then get the opt-in afterwards for whatever the next thing is, right? That's a much better practice. Another option for changing your web forms is to structurally change how they work, right? And there's great tools out there like Spam Kill, which there's comments in the Facebook groups all the time about Spam Kill. It's a great tool. There may or may not be a feature similar to that coming in List Cleaner soon, but what that does is it structurally changes it so that a script kiddie or a hacker can't go look at your form code and submit the form to Infusionsoft, directly. So that's there's some structural things that you can do there. All right, so let's talk about the next one. This is really the fixing the existing problem stuff that we're doing, right? And the next one, and it's shameless plug, is List Cleaner. And there's other tools like Clean 13 and things like that you can use as well. But basically what these tools do is they go through your existing list and they say that, kind of separating the wheat from the chaff, right? It's like, what's the good contacts and what are the obvious bad contacts? So the way that List Cleaner works is you connect it goes through the API, and within 30 seconds of a contact getting created, Infusionsoft or Keap sends List Cleaner a notification. It's called a webhook, that a new contact was created, and then List Cleaner actually runs a check. There's like 55 things that we're looking for based on the 5 million contacts that we've scanned. It looks for things that appears to be wrong with that contact, that makes it say, hey, this is probably a bogus contact. So things like there's 5 or more capital letters in the first name and 5 or more letters in the last name that are capitalized. Most people don't normally do that, right? Or first name and last name are the same, or the email address is mail.ru, right? Things like that. Those are obvious signs that this is a bogus contact. And so then List Cleaner will then actually apply a tag or delete the contact based on the settings that you have set up in List Cleaner. And you can then, get rid of those contacts, right? Clean 13 works very similar. It actually does a much deeper dive than what List Cleaner does. Clean 13 goes and actually checks to see if it's a valid email address. It looks to see if the mailbox is full. It does a bunch of things like that. And there's, I think, 13 different responses, Evan, that Clean 13 will return back on a given email address.
Yeah, it's like 16 different responses.
Yeah.
So it tells you, there's really 3 categories of emails: good to send to, risky to send to, don't send to, don't pass, go direct to jail. It helps you identify B2B addresses versus B2C addresses. It'll tell you what domain group emails come from, so you can know what's Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, things like that. There's lots of great information available through that. And probably going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow.
Yeah, and so one thing that I want to mention in regards to that is there's a difference between cleaning your list and like kind of the one-time clean as well as the maintenance stuff, and also getting rid of your list from people that are unengaged, right? And that's what Evan's going to talk about, is how do you keep your list engaged so that you can go and then take off the people that aren't engaged and get them off proactively as well. So the third thing that you can do is inside of your Infusionsoft and Keap accounts, there is a filter to turn on that you can turn on that will actually automatically basically proactively opt people out of the emails based on engagement. So what does Infusionsoft consider engagement? They consider web form submission, opens, and clicks. Those are all engagement things that it tracks for engagement. And if they don't do any of those things for whatever period of time that you set in the settings, I think the default is like 6 months or a year, it changes their email status so that you're not continuing to send to that person and damaging your reputation as a sender because they're not engaging with your content. All right, so that's another thing that you can do. And all 3 of these things are things that you can do today, right? List Cleaner takes 5 seconds to set up, literally 5 seconds. You go sign up for the free trial, you connect to the API, 3 settings, and you're done. And it's just sitting there running in the background, nothing that you really need to do. And then, engaging with someone like Evan or Adrian to get your list clean through Clean 13 or something like that is, again, something that you can do today to get started down this path of cleaning your list. All right, so let's talk about 3 more ways to clean your list. So these are the things that are the preventative things, right? Again, shameless plug, List Cleaner is one of those preventative things, right? It's always running, it's checking every contact, and it can check your existing list. But some other things that you can do is you can make changes to your campaigns. One thing that's popular with people is they do what's called kind of a honeypot, right? They'll put a field on the form that is empty, that doesn't have a value, and they'll make a change to the campaign that says if there's a value for this field, put them in a different path. So they'll do a decision diamond, and they'll have, if the field is empty, put them down the normal path. But if that field that's a hidden field gets filled in, which the spam bots will do, it will redirect them to a different and won't actually send out any emails, right? That's one thing that you can do. People are also doing that with List Cleaner as well, saying if it's a bad contact, put them in this other path, right? And I'm doing this like to draw out the decision diamonds. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen right now, but that's how that would look. I guess it actually would be backwards, right?
Yeah. And Jordan, just to clarify, it's a hidden field that you add.
Right. Yeah, you add a hidden field, and then you do a decision based on if that value is there or not. So that's the honeypot thing. But yeah, making changes to your campaigns based on what these tools are telling you is a fantastic thing. There's a couple of videos on YouTube that show you how to set that up as well. and then also about how to set up decision diamonds and things like that. So that's the fourth thing you can do. The fifth thing that you can do is to use the double opt-in. Right. So the reason for that, and there's competing ideas here. Generally speaking, a double opt-in is used to say, hey, I just want to make sure this is really you and that you're really asking for this information. If you have a problem with fake information coming in, you might want to consider using a double opt-in and requiring a double opt-in before they actually get the content. You don't have to do that, but it might be a good preventative measure if you get a bunch of fake stuff coming in. Basically, what that looks like is in your campaign, inside your Infusionsoft campaign, they fill out the web form, it triggers the double opt-in sequence, and then they don't get to the next part unless they click on the link in the double opt-in. Right? That's like what I would call like a hard double opt-in. You can also do a soft double opt-in where it's just like, hey, you're still going to get the content, but I just want to make sure this is really you.
And Jordan, real quick, and Adrian, you may want to chime in on this as well. You also want to look at double opt-in depending on where you live. With GDPR, which is in the EU and the UK, you look at Castle laws, which are the spam and compliance laws in Canada. A lot of those require double opt-in. So depending where in the world you live, who you serve as a customer, you might have to do that from a compliance standpoint as well. So don't just think of this as deliverability. This is also, email compliance, which will affect your ability to send and receive emails down the road as well.
I'll just kind of chime in on that, and a very kind of disclaimer here. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. Be very careful about what the different laws and regulations apply in the territories that you. So it's not just where you're based; it's where you are marketing to. So as an example, the European regulatory bodies could come after an American company if they wanted to. I think it's if it's a tiny business, it's unlikely. But again, you've got to make your own decision on that. As an example, Germany. So it's not just Europe. It's like Germany has a very specific requirement for double opt-in, the same way that say Canada does, I think. The UK, even though they enforce GDPR, then there's different interpretations. So just get very careful advice before you go away, and either don't get too paranoid, but equally don't be too slack on this stuff either. Go into this with your eyes open, I think is what we're saying.
Totally. Yeah. So all right. So we're getting close on the time. So let's keep going. The next thing is that you ask for more information on your forms. And I kind of already talked about this before, but it used to be, hey, just ask for the email address, right? Well, if you do that, you're at risk of getting jordanhatch@gmail.com or mickey@mouse.com or whatever. The things that you're giving away in exchange for their contact information should be valuable enough that you can ask for first name, last name, and email, right? First name and email at an absolute minimum, but never just email address. That's just asking for trouble, right? And to go back to like what we talked about yesterday, having a big list, cool, right? That's just like whatever. It's a vanity metric these days, right? Oh, I've got 500,000 people on my list. So what? I have 500,000 Instagram followers. Guess what? I can go pay someone in India to get me 500,000 Instagram followers, and they're all fake accounts, right? I can have. It doesn't matter. Like it's quality over quantity. That's what matters now. So doing these things are what is going to help you not only be more effective with your marketing and be more accurate with the decisions that you're making, right? Because you might be spending money on Facebook ads to drive traffic to these opt-ins. And if a spam bot comes in and fills out that form, it's going to make it look like that Facebook ad is fantastic. But guess what? It's not. It's wrong. It's not true. It's not accurate. So if you're not doing these things, you're proactively, or if you're not proactively doing these things, you are potentially making decisions based on bad data, right? So it's super important that you do these things, right? So the other thing is that the damage that this causes in your ability to get to the inbox for the people that are actually paying you potentially, or that want to be on your list, it's severely damaged when you keep sending emails to all of these people or email addresses that don't open, don't click, don't whatever, right? So it's vitally important that you take care of these things. So there's a couple of questions I think that we still need to answer. I want to make sure that we have like one minute or so to answer some questions. But real quick, while we're doing that, if you can go to the next slide, I do want to offer anyone that's watching. Normally, it's a 9-day free trial of List Cleaner, but anybody that watches the webinar, if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording, you can go sign up for a 30-day free trial of List Cleaner. Promo code is KEAP in all lowercase. Do that and it'll change your 9-day free trial to a 30-day free trial. I just want everybody to be able to go in, and even if you just go sign up for the 30-day trial, go clean your list, go clean your existing list and cancel. I don't care. Just clean your list. Like, the only reason that it's there is to help improve the deliverability of everybody else. And the only reason I charge for it is because I got server costs. That's it. That's why it's only $9 a month, right? It's not a huge money maker. It's just there as a service to people, and you know, go try it out. And then it's always there running for you in the background, right? That's how it works. So there's one comment from Facebook that we wanted to talk through. Tom on Facebook says, I've clicked the unsubscribe on some emails, yet I still get them. When that happens, it's block time, unless there's a better way to deal with this issue. Yeah, so totally. And, you know, those people that are doing that, if you opt out and they still email you, they're actually in violation of laws in probably every single country out there, including the US. Yeah, that's definitely, like, report those people as spam, opt out, publicly shame them on Facebook, like, do whatever you want. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, right? Jordan, can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
So definitely market is spam. You know, there's people that do what I call list jumping, which is they opt out of one list and they push them to another marketing platform and resend them. That's complete violation of spam. Mark them as spam. And if any of you guys if anyone on this call is doing that, please stop. But in California, 2020, the new California spam laws go into effect, which makes it a criminal offense that they can sue you for with default judgments. So if you're marketing to people in the state of California, or your business is in the state of California, you are susceptible to those laws. So you've got to be careful of the spam compliance there. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is, like, this is so important. And a lot of times, like, most people out there unless you're paying attention to deliverability, you probably have challenges within your list, within your infrastructure setup. We're going to cover this stuff tomorrow, that are causing problems. Unfortunately, because you really don't know about this stuff, you don't know you have a problem until it's potentially really, really bad. And when problems get really, really bad, it takes a lot longer to clear up those problems.
And it gets a lot more expensive.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right?
3 years ago, if you had some reputation dings, couple weeks of good mailing, you're set. I had a client just about 3-4 months ago now. They tanked their IP reputation. They tanked their domain reputation. It took us 3 months of throttled, dedicated, extremely planned sending to fix where they were. So please, 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 please pay attention to this stuff. Be preventative on it. We're going to dive in a lot more of this tomorrow, talking about the 3 pillars of email deliverability, what you need to look at. On Friday, Adrian is going to jump in and talk about how to leverage software and tools to really be proactive on the engagement, which is a big part of it. So please make sure you hop in tomorrow. If you can't be there live, watch the replay, although we do love you there live because we can actually answer your questions. You know, right now I think there's a few people that dropped off, so we don't have a massive amount of questions, but please hop on. We're here to help you. So, you know, please help us do that.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for our time today. We're decent amount over. Our apologies to Keap, but that's kind of what you get when you put me on a call. I'm long-winded. So thank you for jumping on the call, everyone that's on live, and thank you that are watching the recording. Like Evan said, we know that it's you know, time is your most valuable asset, and so let us know in the comments or reach out to us on Facebook or however you want to reach out to us. We're more than willing to help and to answer any questions that you have. And also, don't forget to go sign up for your 30-day free trial of listcleaner.io. Make sure you use the promo code KEAP. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.